Welcome back. Technology is coming at us fast, you guys. Could you imagine a situation if you're a sports fan, if like Tyreek Hill, CJ2K, Xavier Worthy all fused together and had a baby? How fast that child would possibly be? Not even a baby, that's kind of some weird looking stuff, but if they were fused together into one being, how fast that person would possibly be? They would actually outrun Bo Jackson, who apparently traveled at warp speed, just like technology is growing today. It is coming at us faster than a cokehead can possibly run back to his dealer for another 8-ball. We just can't keep up. Just a few months ago, we had Elon's whole, puppeteer robot display out there for us all to see, showing us the new techs and gadgets and widgets that he's got going on out there to display to the world. We also got sex dolls and sex bots out there to exploit young men. Eventually they're coming for the women too. Don't worry, it'll be customizable with the meat size. I guarantee you that's what's next. So just be prepared. If you're down on your luck, you can save up a lot of money and buy you one of those, and you never have to worry about anything else. Just like the guys who are sitting at the house just waiting for the day that those women become sentient. And the second they do, I'm sorry, ladies, we're done. Cat Williams predicted that too. The second those like sex dolls come out with their own minds of their own, we're finished. Y'all are definitely finished. But I'm just telling you, because guys, we are down bad. But anyway, that's despite the point today. I want to go ahead and get to this news clip here, so that way we can go ahead and get into it. Because today we're talking about flying cars. That's right. It's happening now. We're going to the world of the Jetsons. We're trying to reach it real quickly.
All the advances in automotive tech, one issue only seems to be getting worse: gridlocked traffic. But this Silicon Valley startup says the solution comes straight from our imagination: the flying car.
You can actually use it today, and you can cut your commute at least in half, if not more.
Jim Duchovny says his company Aleph Aeronautics was able to create something we've been dreaming about since the Jetsons.
We're trying to make science fiction a reality.
And while not quite ready for the road, Duchovny says the flying car is about to take off. NBC News was given exclusive access to see their concept model with our own eyes.
If everything goes smoothly, I'm going to watch a car fly over another car. We'll see.
Sure enough, we watched it soar through the air over another car and land. But for all the magic of this moment, we were heavily restricted, forced to shoot at least half a football field away, and we never actually saw the driver entering or exiting the vehicle.
But you're not still all the way there yet, because you wouldn't let me in the cockpit yet.
There's a difference between you and the consumers. We still have some IP, intellectual property, which we're trying to protect.
So far, more than 3,200 early adopters have pre-ordered their $300,000 all-electric flying car. And the company is aiming to begin production by next year. But practicality might be where the rubber meets the sky. Only a few countries allow for the kind of road-to-air reality Duchovny envisions.
It's going to be slow, incremental approach, which is good for legal integration, which is good for consumer integration.
But he says as demand grows, regulations will catch up with the tech. For now, it's still that cutting-edge pie in the sky. Steve Patterson, NBC News, Silicon Valley.
All of that seems very, very cool, very ingenuitive. But why would I trust a hoverboard that can fly more than I would trust that vehicle? First of all, that thing looks pretty cheap. It sounds cheap. It sounds like one of those industrial fans that you use to like cool off a gym in an AAU tournament, but it's been running for about 2 weeks straight and it's on its last legs. That's what that thing sounds like. It sounds like it's being overworked. It sounds like whatever it's lifting is heavy. Even though the material looks cheap and it looks like you could take a bat straight to it and just destroy it, apparently, maybe not. All I know is it doesn't seem like something I would trust to get over traffic. Now it says it can cut your commute in half. Could it really? I don't know. It sounds to me like I'm going to end up landing on another vehicle at some point in time, and I'm going to have an entirely different lawsuit on my hands. Something that I really don't want to deal with. First of all, where do you get into this vehicle? Dude says, you wouldn't let me get into the cockpit. And then homie was like, well, you're a little bit different than the consumer.
But you're not still all the way there yet, because you wouldn't let me in the cockpit yet.
There's a difference between you and the consumers.
How? I mean, I guess you can risk consumers' lives instead of risking this guy's life, I guess, because the company he's working for, which is NBC, has way more money than the average consumer. So if a consumer dies, we can pay them off and still survive. If NBC, employee dies in this vehicle, we won't be able to survive that at all. So maybe that's what he's talking about. Also, I find it weird that when homie said this,
Sure enough, we watched it soar through the air over another car and land. But for all the magic of this moment, we were heavily restricted, forced to shoot at least half a football field away, and we never actually saw the driver entering or exiting the vehicle.
what happened to the guy? I know you're half a football field away, but like, dude, I could throw a football almost half a football field. So, I mean, that means I can see the target at the end of the way. If the car just takes off and flies, how do you not see the person? Did he just like tape himself to the side of the vehicle? What did he do? Just vanish, instant transmission, pull a Goku? I'm trying to figure out what happened to that man. If he's not there, where did he go? That was interesting to me. Like, I mean, you were there. You were there. Also, this vehicle sounds very cheap. It sounds like a drone. Like one of those cheap drones that you would get at Walgreens or CVS, or one of the ones that you get in a real small pack over at Walmart that has probably been kicked around the aisle a few times. Like you're gonna get home and you're gonna pray that it flies. Just like those remote control helicopters that you see, it's like, maybe it works. Get your kid excited or get your nephew or niece or something like that really pumped up until you realize without those batteries, and I mean somehow strong batteries, it doesn't fly. That's what that car sounds like. Just seems very weird. And also in the very first clip they showed us, does this not look like CGI? It doesn't look real.
Silicon Valley startup says the solution comes straight from our imagination.
It doesn't look like the car was actually there. It looks like it was created out of Unreal Engine 5. Actually, more like Unreal Engine 3, because it looks really spacey and it looks like it's from the 2000s. Kind of reminds me of the first Resident Evil movie. Like when the lickers popped up, you're like, oh, that doesn't quite fit. But back then it looked good. I can't lie about that. But this car looks like shit. It does. And it lands slow. Seems like it's probably hard to pilot. I don't know. I'm definitely not going to be the one that's going to get the first model. That's going to be up to you. I'm going to have to wait for the first 1,500 people to crash out and die in these vehicles before I ever decide I'm going to go ahead. I'm picking me up one. Now I'm going to wait. Y'all can go ahead and decide to sign up if you want. I'm going to pray for you, because I'm not sure that you're going to make it to where you want to get to. I think on your first trip to work, you're going to have an accident. I think you're going to be calling in saying, oopsie daisy, I can't make it today. If you can call at all, especially if one of these things go out of control, you start floating a little bit too high. I don't know what it's going to be like on the way down. All I know is when you hit down, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of room for your head to go up. You know what I'm saying? Because the cockpit seems like it's very tight in there. So obviously it's going to be a one-seater. So you can't be carpooling people to work. You're going to be getting to work. And where the hell do you park? I guess in a normal parking spot, you just come floating in, looking all weird and stuff like that. Somebody's going to be thinking, oh, Jesus, who is that coming into work? And they're going to be thinking you have mad money. And they're going to be like, why are you still working here? Especially if you're a regular, average, everyday employee. I'm guessing this is going to only be meant for the CEOs who never show up to the job. I guess it's just going to be random cars floating around town. And it's going to create a whole bunch of different rules and regulations. We got to come up with air traffic control rules. Somebody's going to have to be up there paying attention to those cars now. I don't think we thought this stuff all the way through. Before they just approve this stuff and say, hey, let's go ahead and send out flying cars. They're cool, right? What do we do when they start breaking the law? Who pulls them over? At some point in time, I guess you just got to wait for them to float and land. I don't know. It creates a whole bunch of different exit plans and a whole bunch of different shenanigans I don't even want to think about today. It just sounds very overly not thought about. That's what it feels like to me. It just seems like, hey, let's create something. Let's make the next Fifth Element world. How about we wait a second? How about before we do that, we actually get some rules and regulations on AI before they start creating more odd videos of people out there doing some sus material? I kept saying this stuff a while back. I'm telling you, the AI is getting insane. You're going to eventually get blackmailed in a way that will never be unseen by somebody else who saw that material. Like I said, when somebody finally sees you on your knees doing some stuff that you're like, yo, that ain't me. How are you going to be able to defend it when it looks just like you? Just like this whole thing here with Donald Trump out here sucking toes. I mean, obviously it's not him, but it looks like it. Does it not? Does it really not look like him out here sucking feet? Looks legitimate. Just like the punch from Zelensky almost looks real, except for the fact it's like, okay, the fist didn't hit the hand, but the people look real. Just like this car here, man. I think We're trying to push the envelope so fast, we're just not thinking about what are the ramifications for when it's done and we're finally putting it to production. How much is it going to cost? People are already not buying cars. They're not buying the new stuff. They want the old stuff because it's cheaper and you could actually fix it yourself for cheaper prices, but they won't allow you to do it. The companies are like, no, we got to pigeonhole you. We got to make sure the parts can only be assembled here at our dealership. You know why? Because that's the only way we're really going to make money. And not only are we going to make money, we're going to make triple the money because we're going to mark it up that much more. Labor, we're going to charge them quadruple for the labor. For the parts, we're going to charge them quintuple for that. And on top of that, we're going to charge them a service fee that doesn't make any sense at all. Then on top of that, they're going to sit around and wait and we don't have a shuttle to take them anywhere. I mean, there's a whole bunch of problems. Now, I'm obviously just ranting about random things at this point in time, but I'm telling you, that's what I feel like when I see this car. I see, modern day ingenuity, which is great, spectacular, shows the minds that we have out here in this world, shows that we're really trying to do something. But also I'm thinking, is it necessary? Seems cool. But like I said, I'm not going to be the first one to sign up. What insurance company is going to sign up and, hook you up with that? I don't think Allstate's going to be like, we got you covered. I don't think you're going to be all in good hands with them. Not that day. I think maybe State Farm. Nope. They're not going to sign up. They're not going to have your back. Maybe the general, because Shaq, he'll sign up for anything. So maybe the general might be able to actually give you some type of car flight insurance or something like that. Maybe that's where we're going to go next. Oh, I don't know, man. When I see this type of tech being built, it is cool, but y'all can go ahead and sign up and be the first one to get it if you want to. Yeah, just go ahead. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We will eventually talk about some funny things very soon. We got to talk about Broken Leg Man, and we also got to talk, by the time this video releases, I might have released that already. And also we got to talk about Homeboy who sold out his soul to get killed for some white chicks, and that is something to really get into. Well, pause. Either way, see you soon.